Rainbow Waffles.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Max 12.
Hello everyone. Starting off with some pancake and waffle mix. Now you can make yours from scratch if you want. That's up to you. I used just a box mix that you add water to it because it was easier. I used about 2 cups of the mix. And then you need to divide it amongst 6 bowls equally and then tint each one a different color. Now you'll notice these little bottles in the background there. Those are like those condiment bottles you put ketchup and mustard and that kind of stuff in. I had bought those from the dollar store thinking I would put all my different batters in there and just use that like a little squirt bottle. But I wasn't making very much, so I decided not to use them, so that's why they're sitting there. Now also I made these extra vibrant. I put extra food color in each one just so that the colors would really pop for the video. If you don't want to use as much food color, then just put a little less and they'll be more pastel-y, but they'll still be rainbow and they'll still be quite good. So once all of your waffle batter is tinted, a nice color, we're ready to cook it in our waffle iron. Now this is not my first try at making rainbow waffles. Normally when you make waffles, you heat up your waffle iron until it's hot. Then you add your waffle mix and then you shut the waffle maker and then you cook them. But when you do that, if this waffle maker was hot, that red batter that I started with first would start to cook. And by the time you got to the end, the red batter will be quite cooked probably or almost done. And you shut the lid of the waffle maker and then you end up with some really brown waffles and then the color of them, which is terrible. So what I decided to do this time was start with a cold waffle iron. So my waffle maker is not plugged in, it is cold, and then I just took spoonfuls of the batter and just put stripes of color across both of the little waffle forms. And they overlap a little bit, so you'll have one side of the waffle that's maybe a little prettier than the other, but it worked out quite well, as you will see. So filled up the forms with the different colors, one little stripe for each. And then once that's full, all I did was shut the waffle maker, turn it on and plug it in, shut it, and then cook them until it looked like they were done. So I just let it cook for about 2 minutes, took a look at them, and it looked like they were just about done. You want to cook them enough so that they are solid, you can remove them, but not so cooked as so that they are brown and you can't see the colors anymore. Then I decided to try to take them out. And I immediately realized I forgot one crucial step in this waffle making exercise. And yes, that is greasing the waffle maker prior to doing this. So I ended up just kind of scraping it out, and then I had to scrub the waffle maker and start again. I ended up with a plate of very pretty rainbow colored crumbs of waffles, just like that. So here we go again. Grease your waffle maker very well. I use cooking spray, it works awesome. Just put a nice thick coating of that cooking spray on there, and then you're gonna fill up your waffle maker like you normally, like I just showed you prior to this. Now this particular amount of waffle mix, 2 cups, made 8 waffles, just to give you an idea. If you're making a lot of waffles, then you may want to put this batter, make more batter and put it in those squeeze bottles. And it might be just a little bit easier if you can just squeeze it into the waffle maker instead of using a spoon. But the spoon method worked pretty good anyway. So now we're in a cold waffle maker that's been greased. Once again, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to shut the lid. I'm going to plug it in. And then every couple of minutes or so, I check them to see how they were doing. Now, the thing is that you don't want them to get super brown because you want to try to maintain those colors. But that's going to mean that your waffles are not going to be super crispy. So I just wanted to check here to make sure that they weren't sticking, and they weren't, so I was very happy. And then I put it in for another minute or so. And as you can see, when I take these out, there's a little bit of brown in the little squares in the actual waffle. But overall, the color stayed true. Now you can see they're not crispy like a lot of the waffles that you would normally make, just to try to preserve that color. Here's one I cooked a little bit longer that they were a little bit crispier, and you can see that the inside of the little squares was quite brown, but you could still actually see quite a bit of color. So overall, it wasn't too bad. And here's a close-up of one of the waffles that I made. Now, of course, you can serve them any way you want. You can serve them with a little bit of maple syrup if you'd like, or with a little bit of sweetened whipped cream and some sprinkles like I'm going to show you here. You can stack them up, you can put them single, whatever you'd like. Now, the flavor of these, they taste like waffles, and if you use Americolor food coloring, I find that there's almost zero aftertaste, because a lot of the food colors, especially I find Wilton brand, you get an aftertaste, like a chemical aftertaste after you're done eating them, and it's really not very pleasant, especially when you use this much food color. But these are actually, Americolor is actually pretty good, and if you had your eyes closed, you could never tell that they had any food coloring in them at all. And these were a success. I was happy with the way they turned out. Now, my channel was almost built on rainbow food, and I've done pretty much every rainbow food that you can imagine, and they're all on a very multicolored playlist. Go ahead and check it out.